In this video, we are going to look at metabolism, metabolic pathways, and types of metabolism that occurs in an organism's body. Kindly like and subscribe to the channel after watching so that you keep in touch with every update from this channel. So let's begin. What then is metabolism? When we talk about metabolism as a whole, what then is metabolism? When we say metabolism, then we are making reference to the sum of all an organism's chemical reaction. So when we take a particular organism, all the chemical reactions that occurs in the organism's body constitute what is called metabolism. And these reactions are as a result of the interaction between the several molecules that occurs in the cells of the organism. So one molecule interacting with the other molecule result in another product. And these chemical interactions are what we call metabolism if it occurs in an organism's body. So we basically have two main types of metabolism. We have catabolism and anabolism. So catabolism, as the name implies, you tend to catabolize. So you have a large complex molecule and you break it down to smaller units to release an energy. It's called catabolism. Whenever you have a large molecule and you break it down to release an energy in the body, that reaction or that metabolic process is called catabolism. In other words, when you have a smaller molecule and you max them or immobilize them to synthesize a very larger one, that one is the anabolism. So here, this one, you have a larger complex molecule that's been broken down into smaller one to release energy. Then we are making reference to catabolism. Bear in mind, catabolism releases energy. So in some books, they will say catabolic reactions are also called an exothermic reaction because they tend to release an energy. In other words, the anabolic reactions tend to use an energy in the body, so it is called an endothermic reactions. So we take them. So as discussed earlier, when we talk of catabolism, so we are making reference to the breakdown of a large complex molecule to release energy or break it down into very smaller units to release an energy. That is what we call the catabolism. And it's the opposite of the anabolism, which is said when we have a very smaller unit or smaller precursors or smaller molecules and the body is in need of a very larger one, then these smaller units are used to mobilize or to synthesize a very larger molecule. Then that process is called anabolism. As I said earlier, this reaction is called endothermic reaction and it uses energy in the body. In other words, the catabolic reactions are exothermic reactions that tends to release an energy to the body or to the environment. So in a cell, if this reaction occurs, they tend to release several energy in the cell. In other words, when you have energy in the body and the body is in need of a particular larger molecule, the body can mask the smaller molecules together using the energy in the form of ATP to produce a larger one by anabolic process. So the anabolic process involves three main steps or stages. If the body is in need of a particular larger molecule and it wants to synthesize it from a very smaller one, it uses three main stages in the body. The first one is you must have precursors, the smaller units like the amino acids, can have monosaccharides like glucose or the nucleotides. So for the body to synthesize a very larger molecule, you must get small molecules or precursors like the amino acids from proteins, monosaccharides from carbohydrate or nucleotides from nucleic acids. So these are precursors. They must be available for the body to mask them to synthesize a very larger one. The next one is the activation of these precursors. So for these precursors to be reactive, they are reactions, therefore they must be reactive. They must be activated by using ATP or energy from ATP. So after we have these precursors in the body in an anabolic process, they are being activated using ATP so that they become reactive to mask with other molecules to form a very larger one. Lastly, if they become reactive or they become activated, the body can assemble all these precursors and use them to synthesize larger molecules like proteins, polysaccharides, lipids, and nucleic acids. So if you have an activated amino acids in the body can blend them to synthesize proteins. If you have activated monosaccharides, the body can blend them to synthesize polysaccharides. In the same way, if you have glycerol and let's say fatty acid in activated form, the body can blend them to form lipids. And these are all anabolic processes where the body uses smaller molecules to synthesize larger ones. So this is a pictorial view of the two pathways. When we have a larger molecule in the body, in the cell, the body can break the larger molecule to a very smaller molecule, and this process is an exothermic reaction, so a large amount of energy is released. Large amount of energy is released in a catabolic reaction. It is an exothermic reaction that releases energy. In other words, we have these smaller molecules plenty in the body, and the body needs these larger ones. The body will then uses ATP to blend all these smaller ones. The body, based on the one the body needs in an anabolic reaction, to produce a larger one. Here, though, there's left of energy, but not as much as compared to the catabolic reactions. So in the catabolic reactions, more energy are produced than in the anabolic reactions. Let's continue with metabolic pathways. So in every metabolic reaction, several series of reaction occurs to convert one particular reactant or precursor to an intermediate, to another intermediate, then finally to the product. Now, this series of reactions that involve the conversion of particular precursor in series of metabolite to arrive at a particular product is called a metabolic pathway. So, for example, if the body want to convert, let's say, a starting material A to a starting material D, the body must pass through all these biochemical reactions, reaction 1, reaction 2, then reaction 3, in series of reactions before it can arrive at the product D. This series of reactions that came in the conversion of starting material to the product in the body is what we call the metabolic pathway. So metabolic pathway consists of series of reactions and enzymes that are involved in the conversion of a particular reactant or starting material, the substrate, to a product. In a metabolic reaction, the starting material is what we call a precursor or the substrate from the enzyme point of view. A reactant, a precursor, or a substrate. Each of these reactions in the metabolic pathway is what we call the metabolic reactions. We can have metabolic reaction 1, metabolic reaction 2, then metabolic reaction 3. The product D is what product in the metabolic pathway. Now, these are the enzymes that are very useful in each of the metabolic pathway that helps in the conversion of the individual metabolites to the product. So the intermediate B and C, which comes or which help the starting material A to be converted to product D, are what we call the metabolites. So this one and this one are what we call the metabolites. They tend to be the intermediates of the reaction. So this is the stages of metabolism, bulky of reactions. This example can have a carbohydrate converted to glucose to pyruvates to acetyl-CoA to this. The same protein can be converted to amino acids through catabolic reactions to acetyl-CoA, also to this ATP. In the same way, you can have lipids being broken down by beta oxidation to fatty acids. So it's breaking down to fatty acids, then fatty acid broken down by beta oxidation to acetyl-CoA, and also to this. So all these reactions together are what we call the intermediary metabolism. In the next video, we're going to take each of these reactions one by one, from carbohydrate to this one, all of these reactions like glycolysis, beta oxidation, transamination, and discuss them one by one. Kindly like and subscribe to the channel so that I keep updated from every update from this channel. Thank you.